Jai Sri Ram, friends. Welcome to Bharat Marg. I'm so happy to be here with Vaishnavi, and we are going to discuss about explosive Qutub Minar Complex. Was built over the temple. She has done a lot of research to share with us, and I am saying you, friends. I'm so excited because we have done a video on this from Qutub Minar in Hindi. I'll also show you that little bit for you to know what we are talking about here. Okay, and does this place need to be reclaimed like Kashi, like Mathura, like Ayodhya? What do you say? Make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel Bharat Marg for more exposes, and also click the notification bell to make sure that you are notified as soon as we come live to for you to participate and comment and become the part of our conversation. Okay, Vaishnavi Dileepan, thank you, Vaishnavi, for being with us here at Bharat Marg. Okay, what do you say? Why do you call Qutub Minar is a temple complex? Say me a little bit, Vaishnavi.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on this channel. Second, I've done my fair share of research.
Yeah, little bit
So,
louder. Yeah. Mhm.
so I do have a few points which
Mhm.
I can make, all of which clearly prove that Qutub Minar isn't a Muslim monument or complex per se. It's a Hindu temple. First of all,
Mhm.
around the Qutub Minar tower itself, there are several clusters of temples which can be seen. And if you go inside, you can clearly tell that there are temples because there are small idols and carvings of Hindu deities like Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, etc. can be
Hold
found
on
on
a
these
second,
walls.
okay? Hold on a second. I want to show this. What you say makes a lot of sense. Okay, see here.
ये जब मैं बैठा हुआ हूँ ये कभी भव्य
See
मंदिर था
here, friends.
लेकिन
This
काल
is inside
के
Qutub
गर्त
Minar.
में वो मंदिर और इतिहास समा गया आज उसे अपने अस्तित्व की लड़ाई लड़नी पड़ रही है
This is what she is talking about. Go ahead, Vaishnavi. I will cover it as needed. Okay.
Okay, sure. And the other part I want to mention is if you're going to call Qutub Minar a Muslim monument, saying that it is
Islamic
something,
monument.
yeah,
Yeah.
Islamic monument, that name would fit way better. But if you're going to call it that, then I'd say there's one thing, one main factor which will disprove this. In the Quran, it's clearly stated that bells are a symbol of the devil. The
Mhm.
sound that comes from the bell is associated with the devil.
Wow.
The line specifically states that in the Quran. But if you look closely in the monument, there are a lot of like carvings around the
Mhm.
whole tower itself. If you look at that, there are patterns of bells all around the tower. And second piece of evidence, if this wasn't enough, is that the same bell pattern, the exact same pattern, can be found on the nearby cluster of temples. Which person in their right mind would build something that completely goes against their own religion? Why would that? Why would you even do that?
Mhm.
And why make it so grand?
Just quickly give
प्राचीन
a
हिंदू
minute for
मीनार
the
थी
people to see
जिसे
it.
दुश्मनों
Okay.
को देखने के लिए प्रयोग किया जाता था उसका समानांतर दूसरी मीनार खड़ी ना कर पाया और उसके पश्चात उसने यहाँ पर एक मदरसा खोला और यहाँ पर कब्रगाह हिंदुओं का भव्य मंदिर को कब्रगाह के रूप में कर दिया आज
See here. This is what you are talking about,
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
right?
Look at the pattern of the bells that can be found on the.
जिसे सब लोग यही समझते हैं ये कुतुबुद्दीन ऐबक ने बनाया जबकि ये उससे पूर्व स्थित था कभी यहाँ पर मेहरावली या राय पिथौरा किला था और इसके पश्चात लालकोट जो तोमरों तंवरों की राजधानी रहा है उसके साथ ये छोटे छोटे नगरों में ये राजा पृथ्वीराज चौहान का नगर था और यहाँ एक बहुत अच्छा विष्णु मंदिर था आज भी
You can be keep talking. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Another fact that I want to point out is
Mhm.
that I previously stated that there are clusters of temples around the Qutub Minar.
Mhm.
If you go there, even now you can see that there are demolished cluster of temples, which can which are kind of surrounding the complex itself, the tower itself. So why would the people who actually built all of those temples deliberately leave a space in the middle so that a king way later could come and build this?
Mhm.
Even in what logic does that make sense?
Absolutely. So,
But
what
yeah,
else you found here? Just give us some idea about uh, temple was demolished by Mughals, says Girinathan. Absolutely. There's a lot of proof for it. You can see it. Yes, Vaishnavi. Go ahead, please.
I'm going to go and say about the people who are going to say that this, in fact, is an Islamic monument, and the proof for that is the writings that you see on the wall. But I'd like to point out a fact. If you zoom into the writings, you can
Mhm.
see small designs which are going to be, which I'm guessing were extremely hard to demolish, so they probably just left it there because they weren't able to even break that. But if
Mhm.
you zoom in closely to those writings that can be
Mhm.
found on the wall, you'll see patterns of lotuses.
Absolutely. You can see it right now.
Yeah, and yeah, look,
Mhm.
there are lotus patterns, flower patterns everywhere. Why would he keep a lotus? A lotus is literally that literally denotes Hindu culture
Right.
because the lotus flower is so like close.
Mhm. Mhm. Go ahead.
That's the thing that I wanted to say. And also, one main fact is most ancient Hindu temples, the entrance will always face north because the north side is said to bring prosperity, auspiciousness, etc.
Mhm.
It's a chance for opportunity, for
Mhm.
goodness to come in, right? So most probably it'll always face north.
and
Ancient
and
temples at
and
least.
the Vaishnavi, sorry to interfere. Here
Yeah.
you see the guards. Even still, they were found outside by digging. They got these things, right?
Oh, there's a phone again.
And here, Hindu Mahasabha is always doing havan in this place. They have been chased out many times. You see here, Bal Yogi ji is explaining this in Hindi. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And also, I'm just going to add on to the fact that he said about the Havan.
Mhm.
Inside some of these clusters, you can find Balipeetam, which name suggests it was more or less used for sacrifice and
Mhm.
or offerings to be kept. Right?
Mhm.
So why? In front, the whole positioning of it wouldn't make sense unless Qutub Minar wasn't actually an Islamic monument.
Right.
But I'm going to continue with the previous fact that I said, saying
Uh-huh.
that all Hindu temples, at least ancient ones, the entrance, it's a rule that they have to face north.
Mhm.
Why does the Qutub Minar face north? The entrance to the Qutub Minar is on the north side.
You said that the Hindu temples face north, isn't it?
Yes, because north denotes prosperity, etc. Why
Okay.
on earth
And
would an
how come?
Islamic
Why?
monument
What
face north?
direction Qutub Minar is facing?
North. The entrance faces north.
Okay. Oh, you mean to say because it is facing north, it is a temple also. Okay, I got what you mean. Okay.
And Qutub Minar. Minar is usually the place where you go and kind of call somebody for worship, right?
Mm-hmm.
To
In Islam, yes.
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculously tall. To climb all the way to the top of that would take a good 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You're climbing up and down that place
Mm-hmm.
5 times per day and you're trying to yell.
Mm-hmm.
It's so high that even if you screamed at the top of your lungs,
Mm-hmm.
nobody would hear you because the
Mm-hmm.
sound will just, I don't know, the particles won't even make it down. The sound particles cannot make it down. They'll just kind
Absolutely.
of dismantle in the middle at some point because you're so high up.
Mm-hmm.
You need a speaker.
And you say me, a person as young as you, how did you get interest in Qutub Minar? What attracted you to see?
I was randomly browsing and then at some point I found basically I was getting a lot of videos recommended about Qutub Minar and how beautiful it looks. And some things kind of intrigued me why there are bells, why there are small lotus formations, etc.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up searching that up.
Very nice. Okay, now you continue what you are doing because it's very, very astonishing that a young person like you will be doing this.
Thank you.
When everybody is playing video game. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Very proud of you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Another point I'd like to mention is that minars are usually said to face east, the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm adding on to the previous point where I said this faces north, but
Mm-hmm.
minars are usually said to face east. So why is it not facing east? And also, there
Mm-hmm.
is literally no inscription about whomever built it. There is
Mm-hmm.
no inscription on this tower anywhere with his name. And it said that this was built to kind of show his power. Why wouldn't you put your inscription on it?
Absolutely. And
The
this is the
nearby mosque
stamba you
does
were
have his
talking.
inscription.
This is the stamba. The You see this stump here?
Yeah.
This is the iron stump in Qutub Minar.
I have actually researched a bit about this as well.
Uh-huh.
So there's an engraving on this. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about it for a bit. There is
Mm-hmm.
an engraving on this. For the time being, I'm going to call it as an iron pole just or a flag post, actually. Because even historians claim that it's a flag post. But there are a few things about this flag post that kind of make me a bit curious as to why it was this well preserved. Because if
Flag
you
post, flag post in Vishnu mandirs are called as Dwaja Stamp.
also this isn't a normal flag post to kind of like has the country flag or anything.
No,
It's
no, it's a flag post means it's a Dwajastam. In every Vishnu temple, before you enter, you have a Dwajastam, right?
yeah.
Where you worship first and then get in. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, that will explain why it's so well
Even Dwajastams
protected.
are there. It's a Sanatani thing. It's not only Vishnu mandir. It's even you find it on Shivji mandir.
That's really cool. I mean, that will explain why it's this well protected. Could you
Mm-hmm.
actually pause the video in a way that the Dwajastaman comes into the frame?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep, thank you. I want to state something about this which is pretty interesting.
Uh-huh.
Why would it be this well preserved? Because this is made of iron. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
first said iron pole.
Right.
It's made of iron, right? So normally what happens when iron comes into contact with things like the air? I'm just gonna say air for all
Jai
general
Sri Ram
purposes.
ji. Jai Sri Ram.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
sure. I'm gonna say air for like all general purposes, but rust. It'll rust.
Yes, it will rust. Yeah, but there is no frame of no stinge of rust at all here.
And even if it's there, it's like extremely, extremely small.
Mm-hmm.
And this was said to be built what, like thousands of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
based on archaeological reports.
Mm-hmm.
So how on earth is there no rust? Somebody
Absolutely.
has actually done an analysis. Actually, what? Vishnu Taman name changed as Q Minar Minar. Is a report? Oh, cool. That's really neat.
Right. So, Girinathan is giving a very valuable information here. Vishnu Tambam name changed as Gudupinar Minar. Yes, I report, right? It's a very interesting. Yes,
That's actually really cool.
right.
But I'm gonna continue on the
Uh-huh.
saying there's no rust on it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody actually got very curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing there's the type of people who study rocks and stuff, rocks, minerals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So they managed to do an analysis on this.
Analysis on the ions, the Dwajastamba in the Gudupinar.
Yeah, my guess is something that they somehow managed to. They couldn't possibly. Maybe they took a small piece out of it,
Mm-hmm. The
and
means they
maybe
were
they.
tested it chemically, yes, and
Yeah, that's
they
what I meant
found
by that.
what did they find?
They found that there was a specific chemical that was being created by
Mm-hmm.
this. So basically, you know what happens if iron comes into contact with air? It creates rust.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a coating applied onto this Vajasnamba, which
Wow.
made it so instead of creating rust, it would create a type of protective gel sort of thing.
Means
Which
when the water falls on it, instead of creating rust because of the chemicals composition in the iron, it
not
will
in the
convert it
iron.
into
They
a
created a
protective,
coating.
yeah, coating. It will convert it into a protective layer.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
I
that
mean,
makes sense because when I was in Qutub Minar, I was astonished. There is not a bit of rust. I'm sure the people who have gone there can vouch for it.
and the one more thing I'm going to say is that that coating his name is Meyer Weight or something. I am
Mhm.
definitely pronouncing the name wrong because I mean go search it up because I can't exactly get the name right.
Mhm. This is the Joyasam base.
Yeah.
You see
And
here?
it was also tested that
Mhm.
this isn't full iron. This is made of iron, phosphate, and another alloy. Alloy is basically combining of metals together to create an
Wow,
alloy, right?
that's
So
awesome.
that alloy was the name is Vajra Sanghata and something like that.
Mhm.
So that was the actual thing that helped make this coating. So
Right.
whenever it's supposed to turn into rust, it won't turn into rust. It'll turn into a protective shell sort of encasing thing.
Hmm.
Cocoon, basically.
Okay.
That's
Now
completely clear.
let's move on to the next one. What do you find?
Also, one more thing that you'll see on the Dvajastham itself will
Hmm.
be an inscription. This inscription is the only way you can actually find out who made this,
Hmm.
right? It says the inscription closely translates because it's written in Sanskrit, right? So all experts agree that it translates roughly to this. He, as in Chandra, Chandra being the name of the king who built this. But I'll get into the later portion of the inscription in a bit.
बट बिफोर गोइंग फर्दर फ्रेंड्स, अगर आपको हिंदी में चाहिए तो इसको जाके देखिए, ये वीडियो एक्सपोज्ड बाय कुतुब मीनार was a temple before. This video is done by Bal Yogi ji. Okay, you will find it in Bharat Marg. It's a exclusive in Bharat Marg. You will find it. Okay, please go ahead, Vaishnavi.
So, as I was saying, I'll get to the second portion of the inscription later.
You
But,
see the bell.
oh yeah.
You
Okay,
see the
why
bell
is there
here?
a bell? Yeah, that's the bell.
Yeah, which you are talking about.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna say the next part of the inscription later. I won't talk about Chandra, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chandra, archaeologists say that, not archaeologists, historians say
Mm-hmm.
that there's only one king who built this because
Mm-hmm.
he has to have the name Chandra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chandragupta Maurya.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a portion in the inscription which also states that it was the same king who has also crossed the ocean
Mm-hmm.
and has defeated the king after crossing the ocean into his own country.
Wow.
So, historians are basically, no, it's Chandragupta Maurya, it's nobody else. But Chandragupta Maurya never even went to the southern tip and crossed the ocean because the
Mm-hmm.
inscription states that he went to the southern tip and has
Mm-hmm.
crossed the ocean there.
Right.
So, which other king possibly has the name of Chandra, has crossed the ocean, and has defeated the king there? There's only one other king like that,
Mm-hmm.
Ramachandra.
Right.
Also, an avatar of Lord Vishnu coming in one of the 10 Dashavatars, Ramachandra.
It's unbelievable. Anything, I just want to say the people quickly before we go further. Friends, you know what? If you are here for the first time, please make sure to, subscribe for our. We do Sanskrit class for free for all age groups. You can become a part of it and learn Sanskrit. No age limits. It's free, because if not Sanskrit and Sanskriti, we can never save Desh and Dharma, and you can become a member of Bharat Marg also and become a practicing Hindu. Please share this with as many people as you can, and also with your contribution, you can support Bharat Marg. Okay, and so that we can do a better job, and also do know that we do take the people for specialty luxury pilgrimage trips, which are searching friendly for senior citizens as well as special need people. So you become a part of it, and you can take your family, elders, younger kids, everybody, and also subscribe to our one dharmic message to in the language of your choice. Okay, now let's go. Yes, Vaishnavi, what is your last thought on it?
My laws are basically, I'm just going to add a bit more proof to whatever I said.
Uh-huh.
There are only
Let's
two
move on
kings,
quickly. Yes.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add on to the portion where the next portion of the inscription states that he has departed the world
Mm-hmm.
and went to the other world, his other world, in his actual form.
Wow. So about the King Chandra, that you
Yes.
are saying, it is Ramachandra they are referring
What
to.
other proof do you need?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But anyway, that's my basically last point. Why would there be a Dvajastamam here? Why would the Dvajastamam have that specific inscription on it? Why are there bells on the actual tower? Why are there clusters of temple around the actual tower? Why
Right.
doesn't the tower have any inscription about the person who has claimed to have built it?
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Friends, thank you, Vaishnavi. But friends, I will recommend you to watch this video, okay, as Bal Yogi goes through it. This video is available. I will make sure that to add it in the description, in the end of the video also. Please go ahead and see it. And we have walked through it and gave enough proof. But this happened to be the temple personally worshipped by Prithviraj Chauhan's daughter. Okay, just Vaishnavi, for your information, before
Wow.
Prithviraj Chauhan left Gori Muhammad. See, that's something what our ancestors did. The biggest mistake which we should learn from is leaving the enemy to go back again and again. Even we don't leave mosquitoes to go back again and again, but they wanted to prove how good we Sanatanis are and things like that, probably. And we have to learn from it, and never let your enemy lose is what we are learning from it. This was a personal temple where Prithviraj, Samrat Prithviraj's daughter used to worship. Okay, in fact, when you go through this video, what I like in your video, Vaishnavi, is that you coming out with a scientific proof. That's what I wanted to have a conversation with you. But for the people to see the real proof, they had to visit this video, which Bal Yogi has done a phenomenal job on Mughal history. Okay, you had to see it. Please, friends, comment, like, share. This is our temple. Do you think we have to reclaim? If we need to reclaim, type Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram, Ayodhya, Mathura, Kashi. Do you think Qutub Minar should be in the list? Want to know from you. Okay, looking forward to see you soon. Again, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your research. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, thank
Krishna.
you for inviting me.